and I'm going to go to my Dovico log-on page. So you will do the same thing. Is you will go ahead and sign on the same way that you've been signing on all along. You'll put in your company name, user ID, and password. None of that will have changed. And the changes for you will be happening on Wednesday very early in the morning. So when you come in on Wednesday to work, when you sign on, all the changes will be here for you. All your data will be migrated over for you. You're not going to have to worry that any of your data will be lost. You're just going to sign in the same way, and all your data is transferred and upgraded automatically.
Put that in. She wants an attendee number now.
Automatically for you. So I can see somebody else here is just coming in through there as well too.
Oh, okay.
So when you sign on, you will see the Employees and Projects view, the same as what you had before. But what you may notice is there is a difference here, is that when you I'm going to show you first thing how to add a logo to your report. So any reports that are going to be built in this new reporting tool, you do have the ability now to add your logo. So that is found under the menu in the top left-hand corner, which I'm sure you're all familiar with. If you go to Setup and then Database Options, so Menu, Setup, Database Options, you'll now see within the Company Profile tab, there is a place where you can click on the Upload button beside Company Logo and browse out to find your logo. And then once you've put it in here, what you'll do is you have the option to put in the top left or the top right-hand corner of all of your reports. So like I said earlier, this is available for any reports that have been built in the new reporting tool. Your reports that you had built in Crystal will not have this functionality on it. It's just going to be for reports built in the new reporting tool. So I'm going to say that I want mine all in the top right-hand corner. I'll choose Apply. And now you'll see when we go into the new reporting tool and create a report that you do have the ability to add that logo, or you will see that logo on any reports that are created through there. So again, it's in the menu, Setup, Database Options, and then the Company Profile tab. Browse out to get your logo, position it whether you want to top left or top right, click the Apply button on the bottom, and it will be there for you automatically. Now the Reports tab, I've had it in my favorites, and it's still in my favorites here across the tab. But it's now the Reports view, but you will have access to the old Reports Explorer. So the legacy reports, there's an icon in your toolbar. It's the third one in from the right, and it's called Reports Legacy. So if you had any custom reports and you want to go find those, click on the Reports Legacy. When you do that, this will be very familiar to you. It just takes you back to the old Reports Explorer. So all of your reports were in here. So if you built any custom reports, or if you really like one of these reports that are in here and you want to keep using it, this is where you have access to it. If you want to get back to the new Reports Builder, you'll just click on the Reports Builder icon that is now available in the old Reports Explorer, and it will take you back to the new reporting tool. So that's important to remember how to get back to your old Reports Legacy or the old Reports Explorer. Now when you're in this new reporting tool, there's about 35 reports or so that are in here out of the box. It's very easy to customize, to add any new reports, remove columns, change your source, anything like that. But if you want to look for a report now, they've made it quite easy as they've added some search functionality. So for example, if you're looking for some type of employee report, so if I just type in employee here, if I can type, you'll see here you get all of your employee reports up. So anything that has the name employee in it is going to come up in the employee name here. You can also search for a description. So if I wanted something with employee and budget, you can see here that I've got anything with employee and budget. And you can also search by type. There's a number of different types in the software. So once you get used to a little bit what the different types mean, this is also an easy way to find the reports. If you want to streamline them down and only return certain reports, you could search by your types as well too. So basically what I'm going to do here is just show you how to run a report. So I'm just going to run the basic project report, which you probably are familiar with now. Just this project time and cost report, which is very similar to what you had in the old Reports Explorer. So if I choose the project time and cost, choose the magnifying glass beside it, it's going to prompt you to run the report. So you have the option here to just choose a project and run it. Choose a date range. So once again, you can still put in just a specific date range, or you can say for life. And they've also built in a number of different options in here to make it quicker, more user-friendly if you want to run it for the current month, if you want to run it for the current week. You've got that flexibility now as well, too. So I'm going to choose for life. If you have multi-currency turned on, it's also going to prompt you to choose what currency you want the report to be run in. And they've added two more nice features, too, for running parameters. Is that you've got the ability now to choose that you want to list this by client. So the new things that they've added as far as the parameters go, notice there's this checkbox. If you're saying you want the parameter for project, you can now say, I also want to see them sorted by client. And they've added the functionality as well that if you choose the client, all of the projects underneath of them are automatically selected. That's something that users that have been with us for a while have been asking for a long time. So that functionality they've added, and you'll see the same functionality with employees and teams. If you choose a team name now, when you're prompted to choose the employees, you'll see all of the employees under that team are selected. And another nice feature they've added is if you have very long project names, notice they've got this expand this element, double arrow. You can expand it out so you will see the full project names. That's another thing clients have been asking for, and they've made that improvement in this release as well, too. So you've now got the option to choose from a much longer list. So I know there's a couple of clients that had very, very long names that they'll appreciate this change. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and choose all my clients. I'll choose for life, and I'll choose I want to see this in pounds, this particular report, and I'll choose Run Report down in the bottom left-hand corner. Now notice that I have got, you're probably quite familiar with this report. It's giving me by project, how many hours were worked, what percentage of hours that works out to be, my client cost, and my company cost. So a report that's very similar to what you've seen in the old Reports Explorer. And notice, too, as well, now that I've got this logo up in my top right-hand corner. And from here, you've got the ability to export it out to different formats. You can open it as a PDF straight from here if you like, and you can schedule the report the same as that you could before. Okay, so that's the basic how to run a report. Now, let's say you wanted to see which employee worked on each of these projects as well. So I'm going to go ahead and close this particular report. So what I'm recommending everybody do is if they want to make any changes to the default reports, if they want to add any new reports, I would recommend that you find a report as close as you can to what you're looking for and duplicate it. So rather than starting over from scratch, I would find one that's as close as possible to what you need. So I'm going to choose this project time and cost report. I'm going to choose that I want to duplicate it. When I duplicate it, you'll see what happens now is it puts this in my private icon up on the top. So my private folder now has this project time and cost, which is a copy of the original one. I'm going to go ahead and edit this. So when it's in private, you are the only person that has the ability to run the report. You're the only person that will see it in your private. Nobody else will have access to it. So I'll just put with employee. You'll see here, when I go to my columns tab, you've got the option to add many different columns to your particular report. So I'll say I want to choose the employee last name and first name. So I'm just going to send that column over to the right-hand side. Now I'm going to move it up because I want to show it right underneath my project name. I then want to see my employee. Next, I'll go to my grouping tab. I do not want to see every single time entry that the employee entered. I would like just a total. So I'm going to send the employee over to the right-hand side. You can add some sorts on here if you wanted to. So if you want to do some sorts, you can also add more filters if you wanted to. So if you want to also select by the employee, you could choose, yes, I'd like to see the employee list as well too, and move the employee list up to the top as well. And now I'm going to go ahead and run this report. You'll have to choose your filters again. So I'll choose all my clients. I'll choose all my employees for life, as well as I'll leave it with in running it in Sterling. I'll go ahead and run the report. Notice now it's displaying down in the bottom. You've got some options here up on top to say show just the report itself. So I'll say I just want to see the report itself. So now I can see there's my full report. You can also open it as a PDF like I mentioned earlier. If you'd prefer to see it full screen without any of the scroll bars on there, it's a bit tidier this way so that you can open it as a PDF. Let's say you want to add a page break. So by project, you'd rather see a page break on here. I'm going to go back into Builder View. and I'm going to go back to my groups and say, enable a page break on the topmost grouping. I'll run the report again, and notice now, I'll just show just the report again. I've got 5 pages, each with a page break for each project that I selected. So it's as easy as that. If you wanted to get rid of the company cost on this report, I can go ahead and say, I no longer want to see the company cost. I'll go back into Edit View. I'll get rid of the company cost, run the report again, and you'll see the company cost is gone. So they've made it very, very user-friendly for you, especially if you're just tweaking some of the existing reports. It's quite user-friendly to go ahead and make the changes that need be, and then go ahead and save it. Another thing they've added to it that if you're using custom fields right now, when you were working in version 11, you would have been a bit more of a process to go ahead and add custom fields to report. I'm going to go ahead and just create a quick custom field in here. I'll just create a project custom field. And I'll create a new custom field, and I'll just call it type. So many of you use custom fields, I know. So I'll just create one. I'll just have internal and external projects, let's say. So I've got these 2 project custom fields options for type at the project level. Next, I'm going to go and just quickly add to a couple of my projects that custom field, which I find easier to use through the items list view. So let's just go through and put the type on for a couple of these projects. So I'll make this one internal. I'll make the next one external. I'll make this one external. Internal. 2 more. What I want to show you is what they have done to make this so easy if you created any custom fields to run reports against them. If I go back to my reporting tool, so the reports view, let's use that same report that we were working on before. And now when I go into columns, I should see that there's a type, and it's a custom project, a custom field on projects, and it's called type. I'm going to say I'm going to send that over to the right-hand side. I'm going to put it up by the project. Let's run that report and see what happens now. You have to select your filters. Run that report. Notice now, I'm just going to show the report itself. Up in the top, I'm showing you what report type it is. So if any of you were writing your own reports in Crystal Reports before, you knew what an issue it was to go and create a new view, or perhaps linking the custom field template to your actual time that's been entered. Well, now it's all been done for you. It's as easy as just grabbing your column and sending it over to where you want it on your report. So now it's grouping, or it's adding that type to the project so that I can see that. And you can also do your parameter. You can select by type as well, too, if you wanted to do that. So they've really made the ability to make changes to your reports, like I said earlier, especially adding the custom fields as well, too. They've made it very easy to go ahead and do it. Another thing that they've added to this, I'm going to go back into edit mode again, is that if you wanted to do some calculations on your own, so let's say for whatever reason you wanted to take your total hours and double it for whatever reason. So I'm just going to add a calculated field here. So again, in your columns tab, you'll have the ability to choose to add a calculated field. I'll just call it time times 2. You'll see a list of all your available columns. So I'm going to take my hours worked, add it to my formula, and multiply it by 2, and hit done. And now when I run the report, you can choose to put it wherever you want as well, too. I'll just put it beside the hours. When I run the report again, choose my parameters again, run the report. You'll see here I've got this time times 2 column. So it took my hours worked, then I had my total hours worked percentage, and then time times 2, and it did that calculation for me. Now there's a number of different calculations that you can set up. There's the basic math ones, like the one that we just did here, and then there's some advanced functionality as well too. And if I go back into edit mode here, you'll see if I choose on the advanced options link in the bottom of the calculated fields, it will take you out to the help files. It will show you some of the rules that you have around creating your calculated fields, all the different functions that you could possibly use. And then if you want to look at some examples, they put some good examples up here in the calculated column examples. So this is more advanced functionality. But if you're looking to do more advanced calculations, definitely have a look in here. It shows you how to concatenate two fields together. Like here they concatenated Bill Gates with developers, Dan Smith with developers. So they wanted the employee and the team name concatenated together. It will show you how to do some different calculations, checking to make sure there's no division by zeros so that you get an error, that type of mathematical error. If you wanted to see some different grids based on months, you can create those as well too. And they put a number of different examples here, and these will continue to grow. Actually, last week I was in here and there was 7. I see there's now 8. So there's an example of what day of the week something was done on, if you wanted to see that as well too. So have a look at that if you're interested in doing some more advanced functionality. But the basic, being able to add a column, being able to remove a column, being able to do different sort orders, that you can all do pretty straightforward just by using, I'll call it the little wizard that's in here, going through the different tabs that are on here. The other thing you'll need to know is once you have created these custom fields and published them, you can go ahead and publish them just by clicking on the publish icon. You're going to need to also go and set your security to who can run them. By default, when you publish a report, anybody that has the same security group as you is going to have access to the report, as well as administrators. So if that needs to be changed, if you have option in your security group to do this, you'll see that in the security view, in the setup tab, so same as before, they've added this new report security link. If you go to the report security, you can go through each of your security groups. If you have custom security groups especially, you can assign which reports you want to flow through to which security group. If you have created custom security groups, you are going to need to go in here and do this for your custom security groups for all reports. We did not make an assumption as to custom security groups, which reports you want those people to have access to. So if you created any custom security groups, that is something you're going to need to do right away if you want them to be able to run reports from the new reporting tool. They'll still be able to have access to the old Reports Explorer by choosing that legacy icon, but to actually run reports from the new reporting view, they won't see them unless you go in here and tick off which reports you want them to have access to and then choose the Apply button. So that's an important step if you had any custom security groups created. Within the security groups, there's one other thing I'll point out to you as well, too. If I go to security and then security groups, this is still the same except for they've added more options for who has access to the reports. So there's the legacy reports in the new reporting view, and then you have the ability whether this person has access to published reports or access to legacy reports. So you may want them to be able to just run reports, not be able to modify and add new reports. So that you'll have to set as well, too. I'm going to take you back one more time to the reports view because I want to point out one more thing that I want to make sure that you understand. In the reports type, there's a number of different, well, I've only got one on my private, so it's only showing one. There's a number of different types that have been built for you out of the box that you can run reports against. There's 2 that I want to point out the difference to you. There's time and there's time and cost. As you know, in the Reports Explorer, most all of our reports are written on approved submitted time, which would link back to what we now call time and cost. If you want to also run reports on time that is rejected, has not been submitted, is under review, all of the different time statuses, then you want to run your report on time type. So time type is on all types of statuses of time. Time and cost is only approved time. So you may see a different, or you would see a difference between those 2 if you run the same report, depending on which view it's ran against. So the reporting type time will run on all statuses, and time and cost runs only on approved time. So that's something you should make note of as well, too, if you're going to build your own reports from scratch. There's that option as well, too. The other thing that they added to this, too, I'll show you one more thing, and then I'm going to open it up for any questions, is if I go, let's run that time and cost one again, the project time and cost report. When I run this report, I'll run it for everything. You do have some options now, too, to if I go into Edit View, you can change your column widths a little bit. So if you can go to Set Column Widths, you can change them through there. So if you wanted to expand, for example, the project width column, you could expand that through there. And you also have the ability to put a footer on here. So if you'd like to add a footer, that will show up in the middle. That can be added as well, too. So that's something that's been changed for this release as well, too, if you've got some control through this new reporting tool to change your column width as well as add a custom footer if you wanted to. And then, of course, you can add your logo like I showed you at the beginning here. I think that covers everything that I wanted to just give you a quick overview. That is everything that has changed around the Reports Explorer. Now, as far as other changes, there's one other thing I'll point out to you that you might find useful, is in the project assignment view, in the employees and projects, they have added now that you can put more than one fixed cost against the project. So if I go to the support project within here, I can change my billing by to fixed costs. And let's say we bill these people at £100 a month, let's say. So I'll say that this is my December billing. I'll just put December billing. And let's say for January we're going to change it and it's going to be $150. So you've got the ability now to put multiple fixed costs in. That is new to this release. So if you do use fixed costs for whatever reason, you want to be able to put different amounts in here for different times rather than just putting one fixed cost in for the entire life of the project. They've added that functionality here as well, too, that you do have the ability to add this in. There's no limit to the number of rows that you can add in here either. And then when you run a report, you can choose which date range you want to run it for, and it will take into account on your fixed cost report which month it was ran for and how much your amount was for that you've entered in through here. So that's something that's changed. They've also upgraded the technology. You'll see a lot of these views will run quicker for you when you load up. Just advanced technology that they've added to some of these views or most of the views. And that's pretty much the changes for version 12. As you'll see when you sign in on Wednesday morning, these changes will all have been done for you. Okay, I think that's good for what I wanted to show you this morning, especially around that. So I'm going to open it up now. If anybody has any questions at all, that they can, if you have any questions at all, you can unmute yourself if you muted yourself, or send me a question through chat if you want me to chat with you as well, too. I just unmuted Claire, but her feedback was really loud. So if you have any questions, you can either send me a question through chat, or you can hear the, or else you can
Wendy,
hear.
Can you hear me? It's Angie in England.
Hi, Angie.
Hello, my dear. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Oh, great. Yeah, terrific.
Good.
I missed the very beginning. Are you saying now that we can save the timesheets? Because before we printed one and used it for that period for our payrolls. Can we now save them? Can we keep a record of them?
You can keep a record of them, but it would be outside of our solution. So when you run a report, the same as you would do now, you can launch them as a PDF and save the PDF somewhere.
Oh, just into our own computer, not into the Dovico system.
Correct. It would be. There's no change to that between what we had before and what you have now. The big change is, Angie, if there's columns on that you don't particularly like I know a lot of people remove the start and end time from the default one, you can do that. Or if you wanted to add another column to the existing report, you have the ability to do that. So that's the big change that's happened.
Okay, one more thing. One of the screens you had back at the beginning when I came in had three different sort of bar-shaped things working out what you were doing. Could you show me those again, because I missed that?
Yep, so that's in the reporting tab. So when you're in the new reports view, you'll see when you build a new report, or when you're in edit view of the new report, you'll see there's three sections, I think is probably what you're referring to. So when you run this report, it actually shows up in three sections. You'll see, I'll just
No, it wasn't that. I see it. It's in the top right-hand corner of this. This is what I was referring to.
Yes.
Yes.
So when you run it, so right now I've got like a view in the top section where I can actually edit it and a view in the bottom section where I see the results. If you prefer to just see one, you'd click on that one. So show builder view, show them both, or show report view.
Smashing. Thank you.
Yeah, so that's the difference between those three. And really it's all going to be about which way you find the most user-friendly. I find I'm working with them both, unless if there's longer return than just this single page that's on here, then I tend to flip it over to show the whole thing. So you'll see as you start working with it, playing with it a bit, what you want to do, which way is the most user-friendly for you.
Very useful. And does the Dovico symbol appear automatically, or do I need to do anything with that?
That would not appear automatically. That's something that others I know were joined in a little bit late too. That's under the Setup tab, under Database Options, and then in the Company Profile tab, you can upload your own logo. This is new, and then you can choose whether you want it in the top left or top right. So by default, you will not see a Dovico logo. You will see no logo. If you want to add your own logo, or the Dovico logo, I guess, I could send you that, but mostly it will be people wanting to add their own logo, and they'll choose whether they want it on the top left or the top right, and that would apply to all reports that are built in the new reporting tool.
Okay, so downloading our own logo, how would I do that, please?
You will have to get a copy of your logo and save it on your desktop or somewhere, and then all you'll do is click on this upload button, and you'll browse out to it.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you.
Yeah. So that's something a lot of clients were asking for. So I'm sure there'll be a lot of people happy with that.
Mm-hmm. Good. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
No, we finish up at the end of this week, and Wednesday we're flat out, so I won't come into this till the 6th of January. But I shall look forward to it.
Yes. Just remember, I don't know if you saw, Angie, too, and everybody else as well, too. This is something that most of our feedback, because we've already rolled out on a couple of different countries' servers, and honestly, most of the comments we're getting is, I need to run an old custom report, or I need something from the old one. Remember, you have this Reports Legacy icon in your toolbar. So click on Reports Legacy, and it will take you back to the old Reports Explorer.
Excellent.
So that's really important that you remember that that's there, and you can switch back and forth between the Reports Builder and the Reports Explorer.
Lovely. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? I'm just trying to look through here and see if there was any more questions that came up through chat. Anybody else have questions?
Doesn't look that way.
No? Okay. Well, I'm always available, too. If you need a hand getting your own reports created, just feel free to drop me an email, and I can certainly help you out. And just drop me an email. You've all got my contact information, so I'm really looking forward to getting in there and playing with it because I think you're going to really appreciate it. I certainly like it. And like I said, need any help, just drop me an email. And if anybody wants to stay on, I'll stay on for a couple more minutes if there's any more questions that come up.
No, I've got to go. But thank you so much, Wendy. That's ever so useful. And happy Christmas and a good New Year when it comes in.
Okay, thank you.
Take care. Bye.
Thanks. Cheers. Bye.
Thanks, Wendy.
You're welcome.